They call him a god. They call him a villain. But I call him me. This is the story of Abel, the man who faced Athena not with hatred, but with love twisted by loss. And for the first time, I'm going to tell you why I would have made the same choice. The stars once whispered to us, not just with beauty, but with judgment. Gods played with fate, and we, the fragile creatures below, were left to burn for their sins. There was a time when enemy dared to look at divinity not with awe, but with sorrow, when even the heavens bled. Saint Seiya, Legend of Crimson Youth, is one of those films, a tragic myth dressed in golden armor, soaked in fire, loss, and cosmic silence. It is not just a movie about battles, it is about brothers torn by faith, about gods forgotten by tithe, about the unbearable weight of love that demands sacrifice. And for me, it is not a story of heroes and villains. It is a story of someone I saw myself in. Abel. He's not the evil one here. He never was. Not to me. Because when I look at the world the way he does, when I see its cruelty, its noise, its endless suffering, I understand why he chose silence, why he wanted to return everything to the stars. Maybe that makes me the villain too. But I've carried that same feeling since I was a teenager. That quiet desire to undo it all. Abel returns, not as a savior, but as a judge. The god of sunlight, forgotten by history, cast aside by myth, comes back not with rage, but with quiet resolve. He doesn't scream, he doesn't hate, he simply believes the world is beyond redemption, and maybe he's not wrong. He watches Earth from above, sees humanity drowning in its own violence, polluting its own skies, killing not just each other, but the meaning of life itself. And so he decides, let it end. Let the earth die and be reborn, pure and silent, without us. Is that evil? Or is that just clarity? In Christian mythology, Abel is the innocent, the one murdered by his brother Cain. But here, Abel is the divine sibling, betrayed by the world, and now he returns not to forgive, but to erase. People call Abel a villain because of what he tries to do, but I never saw him as one, not even when I was young, because deep inside me, I understood. I saw what he saw, I felt what he felt, a divine awareness, a sacred exhaustion with mankind's chaos. Abel pain isn't loud, it is silent, still, and terrifying, because it's the kind of pain that no longer screams, it just lets go. One by one, the gold saints fall, the proud defenders of Athena, resurrected not as heroes, but as tools of a cruel experiment. They don't fight for justice, they fight under Abel's silent command, not because they believe, but because they are bound by fate. And maybe that's the most tragic part. They didn't ask to return, they were dragged from death, only to lose themselves again. Their return feels like a betrayal of who they were, of what they stood for. They fight and they die again, not in glory, but in Confucius. Each one of them was once a legend. Now they are ghosts in golden armor. Their return feels like a betrayal of who they were, of what they stood for. They fight and they die again, not in glory, but in confusion. And in every blow, there's a question that echoes: who brought us back? And why? The colors are beautiful, the music swells, but the battles are soaked in grief. These are not fights for victory, they are rituals of farewell. Sometimes resurrection is not a gift, sometimes it's a curse. And then there's Seiya, the boy who never gives up, the one who Cosmos burns brighter the more pain he feels. He doesn't have divine blood, no celestial heritage, no forgotten kingdom to claim, but he has something Abel lost a long time ago: hope. Seiya fights not because the world is perfect, but because it's worth fighting for, even when it's broken. He sees the same suffering, the same cruelty, and still chooses to protect it. Where Abel sees rot, Seiya sees potential, and that's what makes their battles so tragic. Two souls, both right in their own way. One wants to end the world, the other wants to save it. Neither is wrong, but one has already stopped believing. Seiya power doesn't come from destiny, it comes from refusal. He refuses to give up, refuses to let go, refuses to accept that this world can change. His cosmos isn't just energy, it's sorrow turned into strength. It's pain that says, I'm still here. Between them stands Athena, a goddess of mercy, caught between two brothers, one bathed in sunlight, the other clogged in sorrow. She doesn't raise her weapon in rage, she cries, because this is not a war of good versus evil. It's a wound that refuses to close. Abel is not just a threat to humanity, he is family, he is memory, he is pain dressed in divine robes. And Saori must watch him fall again, not as a god, but as a brother she couldn't save. She was once a child, loved by both. There's no victory here, only loss, only silence, only the echo of what once was. Athena's tears fall like stars, beautiful, distant, and unreachable. The kind of tears that don't ask for sympathy, only remembrance. Saint Seiya Legend of Crimson Youth is a story told through myth and fire. But beneath the armor and gods, it is painfully human. It speaks of ideals that tear us apart, of love that demands sacrifice, of the unbearable burden of seeing the world too clearly. Abel is not evil. He is tired. Since my teenage years, I felt what he felt. That his world is too loud, too cruel, too hollow, and if given the power, maybe I too would have done what he did. That's the real tragedy. Not that Abel tried to destroy the world, but he once loved it so deeply, and found it unworthy of that love. He's not a tyrant, he's a poet who stopped believing in the song. But what gave Abel his soul, what truly made him more than just a figure of divine power, was the music of Seiji Yokoyama. Yokoyama's compositions have always carried Saint Seiya to a different plane. His music is not just background, it's myth-made sound, tragedy woven into melody. And in Legend of Crimson Youth, he gave Abel a theme, didn't feel like it belonged to a villain, but to a fallen angel. That theme, soft, sorrowful, yet proud, painted Abel as someone who loved too much, someone whose pain had turned into resolve. The strings don't scream power, they weep for a world lost. And every time it plays, I don't hear a god, I hear a man believed he had no other choice. To me, that single theme gave Abel a new atmosphere, a new dimension. It lifted him beyond the script, beyond the screen. It made him human in ways that even Athena never questioned. I've loved that melody since the first time I heard it. And I still believe, with all honesty, that this movie, Legend of Crimson Youth, is the greatest work in all of Saint Seiya history. It has the music, it has the tragedy, it has the courage to show us that sometimes even the enemy is right. Seiya rises, Abel falls, but I carry them both in me, because some days I want to fight for this world, and other days I want to disappear into silence. They are not enemies, they are mirrors. Both are beautiful, both are necessary, and both are still inside us. The will to save that wants to let go. Even gods break, even stars fall, and sometimes the most painful truth is that we understand them.